There you go, Mick. This is what you. This is important. I'll take a photocopy of it. I'll. And you know, so we're trying to determine who is the other person in that picture, and we're trying to. I think you mentioned. So there's your grandmother.
That's my grandmother.
This one here, you thought it was her mum's sister. May have been. May have been. Who was that person
I
there?
don't know.
Or was that her sister?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Okay.
No,
You just had a guess anyway.
Yeah.
I might.
Oh, does Uncle Matthew know who that lady was?
No, we're looking at it now.
Oh,
That's the one that, yeah, look at.
We're looking-
Because both,
That probably.
both Joanna's sisters were dead at that time.
That might be. Yeah.
See, someone said she might be a Van Semming, but I had a look. Lambadina, and I think the other one was Anna Maria. One had died in 1911, the other one died in 1913. So what's this?
Uncle Matthew just showed me now. That's obviously.
That's what I was.
Where's she
I
going?
copied that for.
That,
That's a Van
Henrique.
Semming, isn't it?
Yeah, that's got a birth date, 5th of the 4th, 1896. Yeah. I'm not sure.
I'll take a picture of it. I can photocopy it. I'd like to give it a go at photocopying.
96, first one, second marriage.
It's just her and her husband. I cannot find, and the Dutch are really good record keepers. In the day and age of the internet,
Yeah.
when you get on these family history sites, there's so much compared to the Irish. There's so much information and links to other family trees to fill in the gaps. But for the life, even death records, birth records, marriage records. But for the life of me, I cannot find any death records of.
Well, that's where she died on the 4th of the 7th, 1973.
Oh right, where's
it?
that?
That's it, isn't it?
Oh right, okay.
That's
Oh.
Enrica.
Yeah.
Yeah, well that's good
Enrique
information.
Caterina.
We asked her. But
They can have this, can't they?
No, no,
Yeah,
I'll
Yeah,
photocopy.
Yeah.
Matt just copied it out.
I've got it here.
Oh, okay.
I'll just take a photo and
I've got
Jared
the
can
name.
take. Jared's the paperwork man. He can take the paperwork with him.
No, because that was something I specifically asked Matt the other
Oh,
day.
no,
after
thanks for
talking to
that.
Jared. And he said no, he had when she died, so.
I just felt sorry for her. She looked
Got
like a
picture
sad
of you
sort of
guys
lady.
here too.
Yeah.
You
But
see-
maybe that was just a bad photo. I don't know. But
I don't know, I think it often happens in second marriages too.
Found that one.
because her
Yeah.
mother. Yeah.
But there,
I've done that,
was
yeah.
it, No, you
But Jared,
look-
Jared's got it, so I'll just ask him for any
Yeah,
information.
but
You go back to Jared, Matt, aren't you?
that's right.
I think he
The-
said so.
and the death is
If he doesn't want to, I can
4th of
photocopy
Oh,
July.
right. Okay.
This way.
All right. I'll take a photo of that one. I missed that one altogether. What about her husband? He would have died a bit earlier, would he?
What does it have
husband.
there? Here, the 17th of 39.
Oh, so he died.
Oh, that's
just
not him. No, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
That looks
We're on
like the
wrong
grandfather.
page. Yeah, we're looking
Uh,
over here.
Theo.
Her husband here. He died the 18th of the 11th, 1971. He died a couple of years before her.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course it would be. Husbands always die
Died
before.
first, yeah.
Because why is that?
We put a little bit of arsenic in their tea.
No, I just wanted that'll add to the family tree.
Yeah.
Geez, that's one thing I find so sad about even on both sides of the family in the 19th century and 18th, the number of kids that died in childbirth, or the mothers died given birth.
Oh, if ever you go around old graveyards here in Australia and see, it's awful.
Yeah.
You know, some of them 5 or 6 children from the same family.
I don't know if you ever heard of Jimmy Barnes,
His story, we never read his book, but we've heard his story.
yeah, how when his mother was giving birth to him, her mother told her to
See, I've got the whole
best way
file
to stop thinking about the
on the
pains is to get on the floor and scrub it. She had his mother scrubbing the floor while she...
On mine.
Yeah, because Jared had this book that Mum brought back from Holland, historic photos of Eindhoven, and there was one street called Gestelstraat or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that had anything to do with it or whether.
This is why I
Well, there's
I try to get
a
it for
little
everyone
village.
else to do the recording and all that. Is that
Which is
it's got to be it's got
called
to be
Gestel.
it's got to be kept.
Saint
You don't want to lose
Michael's
it. You lose it.
Saint
be a
Michael Gestel.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was
there's a
wondering-
saint in the family too, with a village called after him.
Because there's a Van Gestel that's worked for Racing New South Wales.
It's good, like the video.
And I said, is he related to us? And someone said, no, he's from another branch. He's,
Different.
yeah.
branch, yeah.
But this bloke,
getting information.
Anthony Ruders,
Simon went into
Jansen
the
de
lot.
Jong.
Simon's gone into the family tree.
He actually got, I was reading there, he actually got it was in the Ruvers website, they got their own website,
Yeah.
and where he got a tract of land from William of Orange,
Joshua,
Yeah.
because he must have kept the Spanish ships, because they were at war with Spain at the time, you know, when the Dutch colonies, the Dutch republic, or the provinces, they separated from Belgium or Spanish.
Looked up all the family trees.
Where's the...
They need to retire. One of your kids has to retire.
It's really hard to read this because it's old writing,
Yeah.
but there's a rough translation underneath. But that was from
Sounds
14.
looks complicated. It's not as complicated.
That was when they were fighting with the Spanish. And
Everything
William of
else
Orange
is pretty simplistic.
presented him with that certificate.
Yeah.
What it basically is saying is
You take milk and sugar, Jared?
One sugar.
Ruva Jean
and
Anthonis de Jong, holder of a tract of land called, oh, I can't even read that, Schulan, near Tilshek, near Rischbergen,
And you can understand.
having renewed his oath of
because
allegiance
of him being
June 26, 1571 to William of Orange. So he gave,
since they
for
were
that
still
oath of
fairly
allegiance,
young.
he presented him with
You
that
know,
tract of
like
land, which
Janine
must have been on the Rhine,
They
I suppose,
they weren't close enough to him.
because
That's probably.
when he got sick, they were still at
Could be
that age
fake.
where they weren't all that interested in these things.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
It's on the
They had
Rubens
a
website.
relationship
I
with
know a lot of
them,
families
so
like to
they had
embellish
and all, you know,
Yeah.
so
Their-
that's split.
their
So now
ancestors.
this is really important to them
Before we
because
left
they
Holland,
haven't heard it.
And
Dad
they've always
had
been
found
looking
out
at me and Mick.
that
Because we did
we
the curves, and I post a lot of photos,
had,
and I created the Van Gestel page.
uh,
And Uncle Matheus,
sort of
10
blue
years
blood.
ago, he was on it.
I think he might be right. There's a lot of
He gave a lot of detail. So, well,
a lot of admiration to do a family tree, and this is the day before the internet. Like, it's easy for me. I can just go to the website and there's other family trees you can cross-reference with,
yeah.
and especially with birth dates and death dates and marriage dates. And another thing I find that a lot of the old ones, they don't have their birth dates, they only have their baptism dates.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, they baptise them a few weeks after they're born, but that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes they might have been baptised
Because Thea has
6
that,
months after they were born.
because she was
So,
in touch for a while about
a lot of
that.
the dates
She was
are a bit
interested in Thea.
Suspicious.
Thea.
Yeah.
she's, it's even on my other.
But I'm no doctor, I don't know. I'm just,
It wouldn't have helped
Assuming.
anyway, but still.
I think
no.
there was
She had-
thyroid problems that Mum,
She had a a lot of health problems, and then in the end, you know, Maureen's big on this with pancreatic cancer and things. Matt's father supposedly died of stomach cancer, which could quite easily have been the pancreas. Theo and your mother both had pancreatitis quite a few times, and when
Yes.
Theo died, it was something to do with his pancreas.
Oh, right.
And your mother had had all that trouble with pancreatitis, and Maureen was said, you know, she felt that all the family, the Van Gestel family, like the descendants, should alert their doctor to that problem, that there was a problem in the family. Simon said to his specialist about it, and he just said, oh, that's interesting, and just let it go, you know, but it's just Maureen said
On the record, I might just mention that.
that's Maureen said she felt it was important that to say that, like your grandfather, your mother and your uncle all had
Because my best friend died of pancreatic cancer. And it's
dreadful.
not.
You wouldn't wish it on your worst
No.
enemy, would you?
I've never seen a bloke deteriorate.
That's fudge.
Slow, slow at first,
Yeah,
but
then
the
within a
final
few
3 months of his life, it was terrible.
No, and that's what Maureen just said after Theo died, and you know, it was problems with his pancreas for a long time, and she just said that, you know, she wanted to let all the grandchildren know that they should either mention it to their doctors or
So what did
be tested.
our grandfather actually die of?
Well, they
Stomach
said
cancer?
stomach cancer, but as
But that was in
Maureen
the
said in
50s.
those days, you know,
Yeah.
it could have been down to stomach cancer,
Yeah.
but it could quite possibly have been
But it was on
pancreatic
the
cancer.
death certificate of Dad, wasn't
Stomach cancer.
it?
Yeah, because Michael's
yeah,
saying,
of pancreatic.
I don't think so. I think it said
thought it
stomach.
was.
I don't think it did, Matt. I'm not sure. I'm
No,
not
Is
so-
that something? What was your dad like as a bloke?
I've got quite a story.
Yeah, the story is what we want.
You loved
Yeah.
your father.
Yes, yes.
Was he a hard man?
Well, actually, you know, I've got to go back to why we got here,
Yep.
because I was at the trading, being trained in a school to be an electrician,
Oh, right.
and
It's called
Dad
trades.
was very concerned about me with work for the future.
Yeah.
I had problems with going to school and all that sort of thing. So at the trade school, we were talking about our future, about New Guinea, the war starting there, and that the army was going to go in there, and I was getting into that age where I was going to be called up into the army. I was 17 at the time.
Are you talking about
then-
West Papua, West Irian, the
Yeah.
Dutch side?
Yeah, the Dutch side.
Yeah.
And the Indonesia, there was a lot of fighting going on in
Yeah.
Indonesia, so, you know, and Theo went to Indonesia as a Navy.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, that was the future we were talking about.
And John was already in the army, wasn't
And
he?
John was already in the army, training to be an officer. And we
I
were
never knew that.
talking about immigrating. And Australia or Canada came up. And the teachers were involved in that too, you know, they sort of try to advise you a
I'll see
bit
they all
more
write the same way.
to
That's
sort
probably
of
would
plan
know.
what you were planning for the future. So I went home to Dad
Is that picture?
and mentioned
But on the back is the
that
ages.
I would like to go to
Okay.
either
So,
Canada
was
or
47, he was
Australia.
48.
And John came in with me and he said, and I would go with you. So the two of us wanted to immigrate. And then after a while, Mum and Dad said, we don't want to break up the family.
Oh, right. See, this is interesting.
And we all go. And that was the beginning of it all.
But to go back, Jared was wanting to know about your father. I mean, growing up, your father was strict, but he was fun too, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
Like Matheus.
He was a clown in the family,
Yeah.
yes.
a bit like Otten, that, you know,
Yeah.
he enjoyed, he was the life of the party always,
Yes.
wasn't he?
Yeah.
When you were growing up as children, we were talking the other day about, you said how for St. Nicholas, the 6th of December, you'd all be sitting in the room and suddenly the door would open and a whole lot of lollies would get thrown in. And, you know, so, and then the door would close. And also,
And we never knew that it was.
and then with your toys with St. Nicholas,
Yeah.
he would lock himself in the room and not let any of you in, and he'd be saying, "Oh, this is such a wonderful toy. Oh, I'm having such a good time," and they'd all be outside the door calling out,
Kids being
"Let
kids,
us in,
let us
let
in.
us in," and he'd be in there, go, "Oh, they'll love this. Oh, this is so much fun." So he was fun like that, wasn't he? Even though he was strict and made you all, you know,
Stick to the rule.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. That was.
But coming here to Australia, he found it very, very hard. He was terribly,
Yeah,
terribly
he
homesick, wasn't he?
He was homesick.
Australia would have been a harsh country with our summers. You're in that little house.
Yeah.
13
Well,
people.
it wasn't a little house for us. It was a big house.
No, here in Peakhurst.
Oh,
I was
in
talking about.
Peakhurst.
Oh, yeah. But
Yeah.
But when I
And-
looked at that house and I saw 11 kids, how many bedroom? 3 bedroom?
Two.
we're in Peakhurst.
Yeah.
Two.
Two for the children, and then Mum and Dad's room.
Well, they didn't
Yeah,
have a
three.
lounge.
And I
room,
saw
they
that
had a lounge
picture,
room.
the picture of your dad when he was very sick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bed.
with your mum in the
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah.
I looked at that bedroom. That wasn't a big bedroom by the looks of it. It was
No,
only a little
that
wooden
was-
bed.
Could
And,
you remember anything about the house?
no.
Oh,
Michael might be able
Because
to.
what they turned into the lounge room was where that bed was. That
Yeah.
was the bedroom.
Yeah.
And the others, they turned the garage into
Another.
another bedroom sort
Yeah.
of thing. But also, Jared, he was away from all his family. They were a very close family. He was very close to his brothers and his sister,
Yeah.
and he knew he'd never see them again. He had trouble learning the language. English. Matt's mother was proficient. She had English at school, and so she had no trouble with the language. But Matt's father did. They came here, he had run a business. They had never wanted for anything in Holland. They were not rich, but they were quite well off.
Well,
you know, they
someone
had
made a comment
no
about,
problem.
Yeah.
They had anything they wanted, and then they came here, and he got a job in Wills making Commonwealth Bank money boxes. That's the only place he could get any work.
Yeah.
Are they those
Remember
little
those
old
tin-
metal
Yeah.
ones?
That's what he WD and HO Wills. He was making those. So is it
At
any
the cigarette
reason?
company.
Did he smoke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But your mum never smoked?
No.
Was he a heavy smoker? Because Dutch normally tend to be heavy smokers.
Well,
don't they?
he smoked cigars.
Was
His-
it Dutch
his
or was
brother
it people? I find that a lot of people lived through the war.
Smoked too. They
Smoked.
did have a
Well,
story.
Yeah.
even
But
in
also-
Because that was
Yeah.
a way of relieving
His brother
stress.
was a manager of one of the big cigar companies in
Yeah.
Holland.
Oh,
That
right.
Uncle Andre.
Yeah.
And I know I was saying that Jared were talking on the phone when I was coming up from Wollongong and he was coming there. We, in Australia, we treat our migrants badly, don't we? I remember the migrant kids, we used to have a lot of Yugoslavs and Italian kids that...
You were friends with...
Yeah, I was friends with
Yeah.
Italians, but he was all right. We used to stir each other up.
I can remember the friends you had when you moved out to, what was the big house?
Because he'd call me a clogwog.
A clogwog.
I can sort of remember that.
But that was
one
affectionate,
boy.
you know.
Yeah,
That was never meant to hurt,
no. But
you
it's
know.
not good what's going on.
So,
But it was.
and your mum, like, I'm just looking at this picture, like here, she was only 47 when she came out here. I'm 59. She's 12 years younger than me with all those kids.
With 11 children
How did she
and a
cope?
couple of miscarriages.
And I
I like
think
that
you-
line you said. She had the best legs in town.
The best legs in Munsell, didn't she?
Yeah. Boys, yeah.
She, her whole adult life, she was pregnant, wasn't she?
Yes.
Very much in love, the two of them were. Matt says,
Yeah,
quite
they
honestly,
were.
he never heard a cross word between his mother and his father.
How did they meet? Like she was, like, wasn't she from Rotterdam?
Nah. She
What
was,
the,
Or was it
yeah,
she
family?
was living in Munsell then when
Oh,
they
yeah.
shifted to.
Yeah. They were living in Woodside.
Right.
Yes.
But
No, it's, you know, she had help. We always had mates doing the work around the house,
this is
living
in the.
with us.
How many rooms was in that house? That house.
We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bedrooms.
Oh, there you go. That's
One room for mum and dad, and then the girls, the 4 girls, were in the next room, and then 4 of us, boys, in the 3rd bedroom, and then the 4th bedroom was turned out to be John and Theo's bedroom, and next to that was the mate's bedroom.
I remember when I was a kid there, they had 2 boarders.
Yeah,
Oh,
Taylor and Hoop.
in Peakhurst, yeah, Taylor and Hoop, yeah.
And that's how they met, isn't it? Do you ever hear from them at all?
Oh, well, Hoops, they both, no, Teo died many years ago. We went to his funeral when Uncle Alex was still alive, long before that.
There's another thing I remember when we were living in Kelvin Road, that's in Coniston, down Wollongong. That was the first place we moved to when we moved there from Penshurst. And an old boyfriend of mum come to visit because he was
What's his name?
he was shattered
Yeah.
when he found out mum was married.
Someone said that he was in a photo, and someone said, "Yeah, he had the hots for your mum."
Yes, yes, I can
What's the name,
remember
Leon?
him. I
Is that-
can't remember.
what's
I
his
don't
name,
think he
Leon?
believed that she was married.
Somebody Leon?
That's it, yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
think of his first name. Somebody Leon.
Yeah, but he had to come check for himself. He couldn't believe mum was married.
He,
And he must have been. She chose him.
Yes, she,
oh, that's one of the things that the whole family could never work out. But
There you go.
Go to Bali, let you hang out, go to Bali.